Everybody rise up. We're about to talk about the Falcons. We're about to talk about my man's ATL. I don't know if this is going to be a good conversation. I don't know. You may not like this conversation. You may love this conversation. I don't know. But I want to hear what you're thinking about this conversation, about these topics that have been out in the universe. All your
anytime we talk about the Falcons, it's a great topic.
So is it like the Yankees? Any news is good news?
No, but just every time I talk about the Falcons, I'm not fun.
Okay. So before we even get to the Falcons news, let's talk about your experience going to see the Falcons. I think what happened was you heard all this stuff is coming down the pipeline. You're like, you know what? I had enough of reading about it. I don't want to watch it. I want to go see it. So then you say, you know what? I want to see it up close and personal. I don't even want to see it from like the nosebleeds. My man showed up in Baltimore with the Ravens, their stadium. Pardon me for not knowing the name of their stadium because, but my man showed up and he got an up close and personal view of his team and the other squad and a whole lot of other stuff. So what was that experience like to go watch the Atlanta Falcons play the Baltimore Ravens in a preseason game? What was that like?
Way too much fun for a meaningless preseason game. First of all, that's just first of all. Like there was no starters, no backups, like really playing. Like these were real, true depth guys, like fringe roster players, guys that trying to put stuff on tape that might get picked up by another team, which is great. I mean, it gets them reps. It gets, the team gets to further their evaluation because some of those guys will make the roster. A lot of them won't. But so just to start off, like for a meaningless game where none of our big time players played, way too much fun. So we did roll to M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. So I had to do it being the good dad that I am, right? We've had the kids on before. Being a good dad that I am, had to roll up there. It's my son's birthday in a couple of weeks, so I was feeling myself a little bit. I said, okay, let me invest in some front row seats behind the Falcons bench. So it was cool. We got there. First of all, I just got to say, shout out to the Baltimore fans. Like, they were cool as hell. I was nervous, be honest with you. Like, I was nervous because Baltimore fans got that rep. Like, they have that rep. But it was great. They were cool. It was real convenient to get in and out. Not like I remember, because I went to Baltimore by myself in 2006 when I was in college. That was back when Vic was playing. And it was just a much different experience for me back then. But this is cool. The fans are cool. People working in the stadium were cool. We were like, when we first got there, we were like the only Falcons fans around. So obviously we stuck out. Everybody's mad cool though. But once we got to our seats down the front row, it was cool. So somebody came up, was throwing the ball around, playing catch with my son. That was dope. He got to like hold an NFL ball. Couldn't believe how big it was. Actually, he's like, I can't believe I caught it, and was able to like throw it back and forth a couple times. We had a player that came over. It was our punter came over, dapped him up because he was saying hi to another player's family members who was standing beside us, right? So another player's family member, I don't know if they were mom and dad or what, but so the punter came over, dapped him up. So he was like, the fact that he interacted with a player, he was happy. So then we were just chilling. We were waiting for, hopefully more players to come out, try to get their attention to come back to behind the bench and come say hi. And this guy starts walking over, and I notice him out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, and he starts asking where I'm from, and I'm like, yeah, like, we came here from Virginia, not too far, 45-minute drive, but anytime that you guys are here in DC or Baltimore, like, we got to try to roll up, right? Because you're not here that often. And so I told him how we were here for the Commanders game in November of 22. And she's like, yeah, that was a tough one. I was like, yeah. Then we flew down to Atlanta last year for the Saints game with the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And he said, oh, that was a fun one. I said, oh, absolutely. We had a blast. And he goes, okay. Well, how would y'all feel if you wanted to come down on the field for pregame warmups? And so he handed us 2 passes, and you should have seen D's face was like that just made his whole. He could not believe what was happening. I couldn't believe what was happening. I was like, this is crazy.
Like, you sent me a text like, bro, you wouldn't even believe this.
Right. I was like, it's like, you don't go in there like I was expecting to maybe interact with a couple players being that close, and given that it's preseason, but never did I expect that. So no, that was dope. And shout out to the Falcons for making that happen for him. So much fun. We go down on the field, got to chop it up with our general manager, Terry Fontenot.
Yes,
got to tell him that he's been cooking, which I think we might get into a little bit here. But he's made a lot of moves in the last week. So I told him that he's been cooking, doing a great job, looking forward to a great season. So he was real cool. But the best part was, you know the story, right? Like his love for football came from
the genesis.
You know, his favorite player, AJ Terrell, gave him his headband at that Commanders game. Well, we're down there on the field, and who starts walking up right past us, right? AJ Terrell. So I'm like calling him over to see if he'll come and dap him up. And so he comes over to dap D up, snapped a quick picture, and I was like, look, man, I just got to tell you something. Like, I just took the opportunity. I was like, I just got to tell you, or like, you are the reason that he started playing football. I told him about the whole, Commanders game and everything. And I said, just that interaction, like he started loving football, started playing. It's his second season now going in, and, he plays running back and corner. And then Dylan was like, I'm playing safety this year. And he's like, oh, little man, you can hit, little man. So like, it was just like great for him to have that interaction. He was so starstruck that he barely knew what to say. And I was like, dude, this is your guy. This is your favorite player. But I had to take that opportunity just to let him know that, like, that's the impact he had in my son's life. And something that's just such a quick little gesture, like, probably has, and I'm sure he doesn't remember it, but it has an impact on his kids. So definitely had to share that with him. But it was a great experience, man. Shout out to the Falcons for making that kid's world, because they blew his mind, blew his world.
No, much respect to any team that, goes out of their way for making a good experience for the kids, especially, because that's the future, right? And that's what's going to grow up. And tomorrow, if that kid becomes a professional athlete, they'll remember, right? That's the impact they had on me. I got to give back the same way, if not better. But
I told him that's what he needs to tell AJ in about 9 years when he makes the NFL.
Hey, there you go. Boom. AJ, I'll see you in a little bit. Stick around.
We were this close to getting Bijan to come over and sign his jersey. Like, he came over to sign. Somebody else had a University of Texas jersey. He got him to come and sign. And we were yelling. The guy who was next to us, who's just by himself, he was trying to get his attention. He's like, come on, man, you got to sign for Low Man over here. Like, they wanted to get Bijan to come over to sign Dylan's jersey, but he just, I'm sure that they tuned it out. And, there was a brief moment after that where he was down a little bit, because, like, that's his, he's wearing a jersey. He's like, he had the Sharpie, like, he was ready to go. And he was so close. Close. I was going to say real quick, but just to be clear, that's no fault of Bijan, though. Like, he didn't have to do that at all. So
no, all that means is that it's on the bucket list for next time you take him through another game. That's all.
Right.
Another opportunity to be a great dad, right?
And there will be more.
Exactly. But now I want to transition from the experience to the game experience, the viewing experience. Once you got back in your seat and the game tipped off, the game didn't go the way you had hoped for it, intended for it to go, right? I think you guys took an L, but again, meaningless game, no big deal. However, there was a starter playing, or your primary starter for a specific position, who kind of fumbled. And he's not known for it. He's pretty solid guy who can, it's a high percentage shot or high percentage kick. Your kicker, Young Wei Koo, right? This man went back to back to back. That's 9 points of missed field goals. How do you feel about that?
I don't care about the outcome of the game. Actually, it was kind of crazy, because when we came down and scored with like 30 seconds left, the whole team was hype on the sideline, like, go for two. And we didn't get it, but it was still just, it was that moment was kind of fun. If he had made those field goals, we don't have that moment. I'm slightly concerned. Let's just put it like that. That's slightly. Okay. It's definitely abnormal. He's been one of the most accurate kickers, but he's been a little off lately. Like even into the back end of last year, he was off a little bit. So I hope that he goes back in the lab, as our coach said after the game, that he's confident he'll go back in the lab and figure things out and come back out in the regular season like the young Wei Koo that we know. Okay.
Now, shifting over to the general manager that you guys ran into, Mr. Terry.
Yep.
Terry Fontenot.
Okay.
This man made some moves. Like you say, he was cooking. He surely was cooking. And he made some key moves, which I think made a lot of Falcons fans happy, from my understanding. Right? At least the universe and the Twitter worlds and the social media is very active with these moves, discussing them. This is Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons. Two moves that I think took you guys from here to here. Or is that, or would you say more? Okay. How do you feel about that?
Possibly even more. Yeah, I think possibly even more, because the one thing we've always been in the need for is pass rush. And everybody was talking in the draft about, you need to draft a pass rusher. They need to draft a pass rusher. And then we pick up the quarterback of the future, which I also think was a great idea. We can get into that on another installment of
that's
the
a
Falcons
deeper
Corner.
conversation.
That's a deeper conversation. But I actually like the pick at the time of setting up your kind of having the quarterback now and the quarterback of the future, but it left a glaring need at pass rush. So I kind of thought like at some point we'll do something, but the longer we got into the summer, I wasn't quite sure. But then you got a guy like Judon, who, I mean, he's been a monster. Even last year when he got hurt, he had 4 sacks in 4 games before he got hurt. So, I mean, you're talking about a guy who just produces, is a monster. And I don't know if you saw it, but his mentality, like, I get why he was holding out in New England, right? Because he don't want to risk the injury. Like, he's already proved himself in New England, right? Mm-hmm. He proved himself. They didn't get a deal done, so we traded 3rd round pick. That's a hefty pick for a 32-year-old pass rusher. But he's productive. He's a productive pass rusher. The thing that I love, did you see his quote?
No, tell me.
So he came and they interviewed him. I think it was yesterday. They asked him about, like, are you going to sign an extension? Are you going to continue to hold out, blah, 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 with Atlanta? And he was like, Atlanta, they don't know me as a player or as a man. They know what I did in my previous stops when he was in Baltimore and New England. Like, they know me based on my past production, but they don't know me. I got to go earn it. I was like, what? No, that mentality does not exist in the NFL. Like, that's crazy. Sport,
honestly.
Yeah, that's wild.
Beautiful, man. That's like a dream statement coming from the guy that's coming into your
league. From a star player.
For a fan, for a GM, for a team. Right. From anybody. Like, that's beautiful. And even more so from a star player. As a fan, I'm happy hearing something like that.
Not only a star player, but a star player who wants a new contract. Like, and he says, I'm going to come earn it. Like, what? Let's go. So the Justin Simmons thing, I mean, Justin Simmons, like, I think between them, they had like 6 Pro Bowls. And Justin Simmons is the type of player that's not usually available in August, especially for like an $8 million deal. But he took his time, and it came down to Saints or Falcons. And he knew what side to be on. He knew the right side of history to be on.
Clearly. I read an interesting stat on him. May I read it to you?
Sure, of course.
Justin Simmons is the only player in the NFL with multiple interceptions every year since he entered the league in 2016. An active streak of 8 straight seasons. His 30 picks leads the NFL in that time span. You know who 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are? So he's 1.
Who?
Xavier Howard, Kevin Bard, and J.C. Jackson.
Yeah, he's a monster. He's a difference maker.
Yeah.
He's a difference maker. The Falcons definitely, I mean, I think obviously things come down to injuries and the team gelling, but from everything I saw, they had a team water park bonding today in training camp. So that's something new. Like, the team looks like they're coming together and gelling. So I mean, you know how I'm always optimistic, but like, I'm really optimistic this year.
Are you like the Dallas Cowboys optimistic, or?
No, I think I'm rationally optimistic. I mean, we have the easiest schedule in the league. We have the worst division in the league. No, I mean, like, we have the easiest schedule, worst division. Like, I think
that makes sense. Okay.
It adds up to, like, you should be able to get to 10, 11, 12 wins.
So to wrap it up, what is your prediction for the Falcons this year?
I think we're going to win 13 games.
13 games. into the
13
playoffs?
games, and
How far are we going?
I think we can go. I mean, obviously, I'm going to say Super Bowl, but like, if I want to take biases out, because there's some tough squads. But I realistically think we can get to the NFC Championship game.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I realistically think you can, because all you got to do is get in to the tournament. Like, that's all you got to do is get in, and then it's not the NBA 7 games. Like, it's single elimination. Anything can happen.
Right. Okay. Well, with that, we will document this and revisit it if that was to happen. Now that we got receipts. So appreciate it, man. Receipts, right. So we with that, let's just kick it off and until next time.
Yes, sir. Shout out Atlanta. Thank you, Falcons.
Yes, sir. Peace.